Welcome to the MinnMax Show, a place about games, friends, and getting better. I'm not Ben Hansen. He's off getting married or something. No one really knows truly what's happening. I'm Kyle Hilliard. I'm joined by Leo Vader.
Hello. We can
Jacob
all read
Geller?
those lower thirds that were
sorry.
on screen the whole time.
What'd you say, Leo? I cut you off.
I'm just panicking here, man. The overlay's wrong. I got the old one. I told Hanson I had the most accurate overlay, but it's old. It's a Falco 2022 overlay.
Everything's falling apart.
He leaves us for 1 week.
And we fall apart. It's actually 2 weeks.
Oh, that's
I mean,
true.
but who's counting, really?
Feels like a lifetime.
Sarah Podzorski is also here.
Hello. Also
Sarah, I
not
had this
Ben.
moment where I was putting my little script together, and I realized I don't think I've ever said your last name out loud. And
Ooh.
that gave me anxiety.
Ben likes to say it out loud.
It's fun.
It seems like he enjoys to say it.
Tech issues interrupted my introduction, so I've been waiting to say it's beer o'clock and open a beer, and I didn't want to miss that. It's 7:30 Eastern time, which is far later than we usually record these. So
Yeah, and there's no telling who that voice is. We're never gonna figure it out.
It's anyone.
Could be anybody.
Usually our
Jacob Geller.
podcast recordings are at like 3:30 p.m., which is a little early to start drinking a beer, but not today.
Well, the reason we're doing it so late is because Sony had its State of Play today, which I guess kicks off like not E3, Key 3. What other names are people calling it right
Video
now?
game summer extravaganza.
Yeah, which I usually wear a suit and tie for, which I'm wearing a suit and tie if you're just listening. But even that felt a little off. Like I was like, is it time? Do I put on the costume? I don't know. I did. It happened. So
It's been like a slow roll, right? With the Pokemon announcements and like Summer Games Fest. I'm like, are we going now? Like, are we go now? Now? Like, are we starting? Is this it?
Yeah, was this the first one officially? The first stream?
I think so, right? I mean, yeah, it's happening. We did it.
Yeah,
Us
yeah.
four.
Great. Happy E3, everybody.
But let's get into it because as we're discussing whether it was starting or not, it's like, yeah, my expectations were weirdly low for this State of Play for no particular reason. I don't think. I was just like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what to expect. And then they opened with Resident Evil 4 Remake, and it was immediately a moment of like, oh, right, this is very exciting, and we're going to see exciting games. And I was over the moon. I was very excited to see Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Man, it turns out it's like, all respect to Xbox, all respect to Nintendo, all the kind of like directs that happen in the months, September through March, kind of fun updates, and it's like Sony is still capable of putting out just like an all killer no filler press conference. I was like, oh, I'm excited for all of these, each one of these trailers. I'm like, cool.
Yeah, maybe Tunic coming to a new platform was like the only thing that I was like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But even that's like good. That's nothing to complain about, yeah. So Resident Evil 4, did they show gameplay? They showed like in-engine footage and some cutscenes and things, but I don't think they didn't show any shooting gameplay, right? Unless I missed it.
No, I don't think so. I've been I've been for reasons that will become obvious later this month. I've been playing a lot of Resident Evil 4, and I went through that trailer basically frame by frame or scene by scene, and it's like there are a lot of individual scenes that you can pick out, but they are all either cutscenes or just kind of like B-roll of the villagers walking around. It's like I could say like, okay, that's in the cabin with Luis or whatever, but like still no shooting anyone.
Yeah, we saw Luis, we saw Ashley in a photograph, but I
And
think
you kind of see her back.
Okay, but I think all the footage seemed to be like from the first few hours of the game, so to speak. Who knows how they're going to mix it up, but
well, yeah, I mean, this is, sorry for nerding out, but this is like what my life has been building towards, is like we saw scenes in there that are like not in the game, not in the original game at all. Like there's a scene of like Ashley running away in a forest that like that's not in the game. That like that's not something that we've seen before. And so it definitely seems like they are, they're not just making the existing content look prettier. Like they are kind of redirecting in addition to just like making all the graphics real good.
Yeah. I'll read they had a PlayStation blog post go up right after the trailer, and it was attributed to like a Capcom representative or maybe a producer. It wasn't like the director or anything like that, but they wrote, this time the game is being developed to achieve state-of-the-art quality for a survival horror suitable for 2023 while preserving the essence of the original game. We aim to make the game feel familiar to fans of the series while also providing a fresh feeling to it. This is being done by reimagining the storyline of the game while keeping the essence of its direction, modernizing the graphics, and updating the controls to a modern standard.
That sounds like a different game, but you just like slapped your characters on it.
Yeah, I mean, they use the word modern a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, what's like a 2023 survival horror game? What does that even mean?
It's the Callisto Protocol, maybe.
There you go.
More
I
sweat.
mean, I guess-
Add more sweat.
more
I'm really curious about like the thing that Resident Evil 4 has that Resident Evil 2 and 3 don't is like the combat is very arcadey. You know, it's like the combat in Resident Evil 4 is like you shoot them in the head and then you run up and kick them and then you run up and like do your knife on them in a way that's like really fun and not realistic, you know, in the same kind of like with 2 and 3 where the zombies are so slow and you're just kind of taking slow shots at them. It works, but it's like I am curious if they're going to keep it as arcadey, if they are kind of seeming to make the art direction much more stick and all that.
Yeah, I hope it stays arcadey. I hope the combat is basically identical. I don't know. I don't want it to be modernized too much. And then, so they followed that up with Resident Evil Village on PlayStation VR 2, which is exciting. I think that's cool. I want to play that game in VR. I love Resident Evil 4 in VR. I didn't like 7 so much, but I think that was part of the problem with sort of the low-tech nature of the original PSVR. It just didn't look great. I think
then they also said they are making Resident Evil 4 for the PlayStation VR 2, which is very confusing because
they said PSVR 2 content.
Right. Maybe mercenaries.
So maybe
mode?
it'll be, you know, an individual level.
Yeah, or like Leo said, yeah, maybe mercenaries or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, do it. I'm okay with that.
And if that's a loophole where we can get Resident Evil 4 VR on something besides Oculus Quest 2 by getting the remake instead of the VR version of the original, I'm on board.
Yeah.
It's very strange. Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, like another thing, you know, it's like the question of if when they're modernizing it, it's like, are they going to keep the attaché case the same? You know, are they going to add these like hot swapping new things? And you can kind of look to Resident Evil 4 VR to see how they modernized it while keeping it basically the same. And so, yeah, I mean, it's like one of my favorite games of all time. So seeing how it's changed is endlessly fascinating.
Yeah, other little things from the blog for Village VR is it's going to use the eye tracking, the eye tracing in PSVR 2.
Oh, wow.
Didn't say how, but
are they going to out me for staring at Lady D too much?
She's going to have some voice lines.
Hey, stop staring at her!
There are going to be sirens that start going on.
Gosh, this is a weird throwback, but when they were showing the Wii U at E3, one of the things they had was like you could move the tablet around to look at these like 3D. They had like a 360-degree camera. They had filmed various things, and you would look around, and then the software would like, you know, show you what you were spending the most time looking at. But they had one of those in Brazil, one of those crazy parades, and there were women in bikinis dancing around and stuff. So everyone's like statistics were just like staring at the women in the bikinis, and all the Nintendo reps were like, "Don't worry about it. Everyone's doing that." It's like, so hopefully it's something like that, is what I'm saying.
Do we want to? There are a couple people in the chat who have brought it up. Right now, do we want to just guess at the price of PSVR 2? Because they didn't announce it. I thought they might, but they did not.
I'm gonna go. What's Quest 2 is $299.
300.
It's 300. I think they're just maybe 350 is I think PSVR 2. What about you guys?
350 is
I think
good,
that's
guys.
probably a safe bet. I thought it might be as much as 400 given, I mean, like the specs that they announced are really good. Like they are better technically than the Quest 2. And also, I think the Quest 2, some of that low price is because Facebook is buying your data, and Sony is
What's
not
Facebook?
quite as.
I don't know what that is.
Sorry, Meta's buying your
Meta.
data.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And so I don't know if, I mean, Sony's no angel, but like I don't think they're quite as interested in that. I think it's going to be pricey.
Yeah.
Sarah, do
I'm
you have a
thinking, like,
guess?
Well, I was thinking like $3.99, but if it has like if the controllers are a little bit different, I could see it going closer to 500, especially with all like the chip shortages. I don't know if that would affect it at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I'm guessing 350, but if it came out as 500, I wouldn't be like surprised. I'd be like, well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Leo.
Go ahead.
Leo, I was gonna see. Do you have anything to say or any excitement for Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners Retribution? I know you liked. This is a sequel?
Yes, I believe so. The first one's great. It's one of my favorite VR games for sure. It didn't look very different.
This wasn't an announcement. This was just a confirmation that it was coming to PSVR 2, I believe.
Yes, and that is something that's coming to other VR platforms as well, rather than some of the other stuff being exclusive.
Yeah, No Man's Sky for PSVR 2 as well, which is cool. But...
Yeah, I mean, it already, you can play No Man's Sky in VR now. So it's pretty. The last time I played it, it was not amazing, but also, maybe purpose built for a console, it will be a little smoother.
Yeah, and then the Horizon Zero Dawn PSVR 2 game, where you're not playing as Aloy, you're playing as Reyes, I believe. Yeah, and you're climbing, using a bow and arrow, walking around under the giant creatures. I mean, that seems like where that game's going to shine, is just watching a giant creature walk around. I don't even need to fight it. Oh, yes, Leo, staring up at the ceiling.
That's the VR face of looking at something big.
You'll walk in, you'll just be like staring at your ceiling. But I want to see how like mobile are you going to be, because they showed some fights that looked pretty good for like VR, with the bow, and some like they saw like you kind of saw them like dodge to the side a little bit. But I don't know how much you'll be able to move. Yeah,
PSVR, they still were targeting a seated playstyle for pretty much everything, right? Do we know if that's the same for this, or if it's gonna have room scale? I forget if we know that.
I can't imagine it would have room scale, but maybe.
Well, I mean, it's. I don't know. They've got like the inside out tracking, so it's like you don't need to set up sensors. So I think it'll be more generous with where you're allowed to be. I don't know. What I was going to say is this Horizon thing reminds me of one of my biggest missing games is the Last Guardian PSVR thing, because I've never had a PSVR, and like I don't really care to have one, except there is essentially a tech demo that's built in the Last Guardian where you can like look up and pet Trico, and one of my favorite games ever, and I wish I could just have that game and not do anything else. So hopefully this thing will be backwards compatible or something.
Jacob, I don't want to blow your mind, but you're talking to someone who played that.
And I assume you and Trico have like a deeper connection than I'll ever have.
I don't even want to spoil it for you. It's fine. I think I wrote something about it for Game Informer. You can go look it up, and you can experience it that way. That's the same. Let's see. I'm kind of going to run down these. So we have Forbidden West, got a bunch of updates, New Game Plus, Ultra Hard Mode. Nothing anybody's going to be offended by. Unless, I don't know, Sarah, you look upset about this.
Out today.
Really
I'm just really mad they put like the transmog in there, so now you can wear whatever outfit you want. And I'm mad that wasn't there earlier,
Yeah.
My Aloy was so ugly the whole game. Because it was just like, well, the best outfit, it looks like I'm wearing oven mitts, so I guess I'm just gonna wear that one.
Well, the steel on those dinosaurs gets hot, man. You gotta be careful. Yeah. Spider-Man coming to PC, and then I guess
that was surprising.
They also, I guess they said in the blog that Miles is coming as well. I don't know if it's gonna be like a package thing, but both are coming to PC.
That seemed notably absent from the trailer. It's weird that they would confirm that, but not there.
They took the time to confirm that the DLC that I didn't particularly like or think was very good is definitely in there. They had a bunch of Black Cat shots and that weird gangster guy that turns into to a mech at the end of the DLC in there, but nothing from Miles. And then they confirmed it on the blog later. So that's cool. Maybe I can play it on my Steam Deck. That'd be exciting for me.
Ooh.
And then honestly, genuinely one that was very exciting for me, and I'm guessing you, Sarah, was Stray.
Oh my god. Leo too.
Yeah.
Leo's cat's in it.
My cat's
me.
in it.
Yeah.
We're all excited about it. Great.
Genuinely very much looking forward. We finally got a date,
Yes.
which was July 19th. So that's all I really wanted. Like, they could have ended it there. I mean, it was great to see Final Fantasy 16, but they could have just cut the stream and I would have been happy.
I thought it was going to be sort of a, like, this is what the game's going to be like, little scene, but then as it went on, it's like, oh, I guess this is going to be it. But there was a scene where the cat is just walking down an alleyway, and all the robots, like, scattered and, like, ran inside. And that was really intriguing to me of, like, are they all scared of, like, the one living thing in this world? But then other robots later in the trailer were being nice to the cat, so I don't think that's what the game is going to be. But this is one... the other day I was on Reddit and there was footage that someone put like a GoPro on a cat, like a stray cat, and they were just running around in the first person, just exploring. And I was like, this is incredible. Like, why isn't this a video game? And I'm wondering if Stray is going to be kind of close to that, you know?
I realized, shout out to Jeff Cork, I had the realization watching this trailer specifically that this is a Little Thing Big World game. Which is very exciting. Of
True.
like, oh yeah, everything's big when you're a cat. That's exciting.
That's good
It's
gaming
weird that
right there.
It took this long for us to like release a game where you could just be a cat. Like doing cat. I hope that we get to do cat things because there was that scene of the cat knocking all the bottles off the roof. But I want to do cat things. I want to terrorize as a cat.
You want to use a litter box?
Yeah, I want to knock things over. Want to pee on robots.
Get under the bed and throw up at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I want to zoomies around at like 3 in the morning.
They released Dog's Life on PlayStation 2, where you played as a dog. You're right. I don't know.
I
why
was
it's
just
taking so
thinking
long.
of that game, Kyle.
Inside of this conversation or
Yes.
outside? Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, that's weird if you're sitting around playing Resident Evil 4 and thinking of Dog's Life. Callisto Protocol has a release date now, December 2nd. I didn't realize that's like a PlayStation console exclusive. I assumed it was kind of... Yeah, I mean, on Wikipedia anyway, it just lists PC and PlayStation 4 and 5. But I'm mistaken.
On Wikipedia, it says Xbox.
I don't think so, Jacob.
Well,
I
it
checked,
says
like,
it in
2
the little
hours ago.
preview.
No, I totally believe you. I could be wrong about that. Please go double check for me, dear listeners. But I thought it was like that was why it was on State of Play, is because it was PlayStation 5 and 4. But maybe it isn't. In any case, it's coming out December 2nd this year, and I mean, it looks like the Dead Space spiritual successor it claims to be, like without a doubt.
The game looks good as hell. I can't wait. I mean, it's
Looks like
weird
you're in
to
hell.
see like a press conference where a dude's head gets curb stomped. I feel like there's a bizarre lack of ratings or content warning with this kind of thing. But as a lover of Dead Space, sometimes people get curb stomped in those horror games.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Leo, I forget. I know you're not a big gore and violence guy, but you do like Dead Space, don't you?
Yeah, and curb stomping. In my day-to-day.
That element of it is what you're into. So you love Gears of War as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
Chainsaw on the rear end.
No,
Love
I remember, I thought we had a conversation once about how Dead Space 2 is just peak, like the best, and for me anyway, like my favorite EA game, like period.
It's as close to a perfect video game as truly as we've ever had. It's crazy.
I mean, it's Dead Space 2 is like the actual modernized Resident Evil 4. You know, it's like they hit the same buttons.
That's a good point.
You know, it's good games. Also, I think Game Informer reported it is officially not a part of the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds universe anymore, which was the
Really?
most bizarre thing about that original announcement, is that somehow the Callisto Protocol was going to take place in the same universe as PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. But, you know,
Too bad.
maybe there's still hope that they will
kinda
connect
sad.
somehow.
Why would they do that?
Yeah, it's like you find a frying pan and you're like,
Yeah, why would they
"Aha."
walk that back?
I mean, it takes place on what, a moon, a Jupiter moon? like a prison moon. So like,
It looked like a prison, but
couldn't PUBG just be happening on Earth?
Yeah, it's like you could
thousands of
say
miles away?
anything in space is the same. It's like Jupiter ascending is in the same universe as before sunrise. You know, like why not?
Yeah,
Jupiter ascending. What a weird specific. Okay.
Jupiter ascending is happening at the same time as Seinfeld.
Probably. You
Can't
know,
prove
maybe
it wrong.
Mila Kunis even works in Jerry's building, for all we knew. I've actually never seen Jupiter Ascending. Should I watch that movie?
I saw it in theaters. No,
No. Even as like a Wachowski fan.
I don't know. Maybe it had some funny moments.
It's real. It's real. It's like everything it does well, Speed Racer does better. You know, so it's like if you want to see a silly Wachowski movie, there's just a better one.
Gotcha. All right. Roller Drome, which I really seriously, I went online to see if there was a way to like, if they had a tool that someone had made where you can make the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater logo and like change out the words, because I was gonna do Max Payne's Pro Skater, and I was just gonna just release that tweet into the world, but I couldn't. It doesn't exist. So I'm like, well, I'm not pulling out Photoshop for this joke. I'll just mention it on the podcast. Hanson, who I'm sure is listening right now, loves it when I explain jokes that I didn't actually execute. He thinks that's the best.
Nice.
Also, you could do Sable's Pro Skater because that art style looks so much like Sable that it feels like copyright infringement.
Yeah, I thought it was a sequel or the same team or something. At
yeah, I
first.
thought it was the same development team.
To be clear, the game looks great, and I'm totally gonna play it. But
Absolutely.
like, boy, that looks like Sable.
Yeah, August 16th on that one. Maybe this is a dumb question. Maybe you're like, duh, Kyle. Obviously, was it an online like player versus player type
It
game,
didn't
or is it a
look
single player game?
Like a
I
player
think
versus
it's single.
player.
I think it looked like My Friend Pedro, but fun. Was my
right.
take. Does anyone remember that bad Devolver game?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, I feel like I've seen this concept attempted before, but for some reason this looks like it's actually working. And you're going into slow-mo constantly, so that is a hint that it's single player.
I mean, I know you're on roller skates, and there's that whole roller skates versus skateboarding ongoing war that we're all affected by. But I mean, it does kind of look like Tony Hawk sometimes, like just doing the way you're going off the ramps and like crashing through the glass and coming back down and stuff. Like Tony Hawk with guns sounds like a great idea to me.
One thing it's missing.
Right. Yeah, certainly Thug or Thug 2 or American Wit. Like has to be a gun in one of those. Right?
Django Fett in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, one of his special moves, he does shoot his blaster back and forth. It's a grind move, I believe.
There we go. Just go play that if you're excited for Roller Drone.
Yeah.
How do you guys think we pronounce Eternites? Does that sound right?
I think it's pronounced Eternite.
Like Eternal Nights?
Yeah,
Returnal.
you're on that.
Right.
No Returnal announcements, unfortunately, Jacob. Sorry.
I thought they were gonna. When they said coming to PC, I thought it was Returnal.
Me too.
Just because there have been like heavy leaks about that.
Yeah.
Eternites.
Yeah, it's very anime action dating sim. Those are a lot of genres
Nothing
that
like
don't usually go
getting a
together.
girlfriend at the end of the world. Nothing like holding hands at the
I-
end of the world.
Is it weird that I'm into that? Like a hand holding
The
prompt?
R2 to hold hands.
Yeah,
and
just
you had
'cause
to,
it's
like
like-
hold it down to like reach your hand slowly.
Imagine the DualSense 5 haptic feedback on that.
Ooh.
Oh my God. You'll
Yeah,
sweat.
I thought, it's like it kind of looked like a platinum imitator, but like there should be more platinum imitators. So like I was totally fine with it.
Yeah, Studio Psy, Kowloon, I think is the other publisher. I didn't recognize either of those names. So, but yeah, the hand holding thing just made me think of Ico. Is really all it was. It's just like, I don't think that's even what they were going for, but that's what I took away from it. So good for them. Let's see, Tunic. We briefly mentioned Tunic coming to PlayStation on September 27th. Great, nothing to complain about there. Street Fighter 6. Are any of us like big fighting game people? I should have called Surreal and been like, tell me something exciting about
You can
this.
do like a serial impression.
Right.
Just talk completely incomprehensibly about like grapple escapes or something.
And then also talk about s'mores at the same time. Very crucial.
They changed the logo that everyone hated.
Oh,
the
I took
logo
that
that
note.
looked
Yep.
like the Adobe preset thing. I mean, the most bizarre thing is it's open world question mark, or at least you can kind of like, I think it's probably going to be you just run from fight to fight, but like it really looked like Yakuza in those like open world scenes.
And there were cutscenes of like more than 2 people fighting each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Hopefully they are going crazy with that, because I am not a huge
Like,
fighting game guy, but something like that would get me in the door.
yeah, like one of those weird Mortal Kombat extra modes, like Shaolin Monks or something, where you were just like fighting people in 3D. I don't know. I thought it looked like the first announcement trailer people were pretty down on, but like I thought this looked artistically pretty neat. Like I like the way that the characters were animated.
Yeah, it's being built with RE Engine. The blog about the game was very, like, really talking about how amazing the visuals are thanks to the RE Engine. You know, you can see the sweat and pores on their face and stuff like that. And then it also referred to World Tour mode, which I think is the mode that we're talking about, where it looked like you could walk around. And then they wrote, World Tour is a single-player immersive story mode that pushes the boundaries of what a fighting game is and allows you to leave your own legacy within Street Fighter 6 with your player avatar.
We were wondering about
so it's
that.
like Splatoon, when you run around and you see all the other Splatoon kids.
Which is really great because it just makes that world feel real. Even though like it doesn't make any sense, like this game that you're going and playing somewhere else. The fact that there's somewhere to just chill and wait for games to start, like really adds a lot of sort of like fiction, interesting fiction to that world.
Yeah, I mean, like the Street Fighter backdrops have always been so cool. Like going back to even Street Fighter 2, it's like you kind of wish that you could walk around like the weird airport that they're fighting in or whatever, that like it's kind of neat to just be able to like, you know, walk around and then fight and see where you were just walking in the background.
They also, I wish I'd written down the actual quote, but like the beginning of the trailer, it was something like, you know, if you want to obtain strength, you got to take it back to the streets, or something along those lines. And to me, it just felt like it's almost like they're like, we're going back to the roots of Street Fighter, which everyone knows, streets in the title. You got to have fights in the streets. We're going to the streets. And like my reaction is kind of like, I don't really know. I think that's just like a circumstance, you know, just happens to have street in the title. I don't know if it's like a core element of Street Fighter,
Where
but
are the streets?
yeah, streets. Oh, what's your favorite street in Street Fighter, Leo?
Oh my god, Main Street. Gotta go with the classic.
Fifth Avenue.
Second Street. Oh man, so many fights on there. Sarah, what did you think of Season: A Letter to the Future?
I am tentatively excited for it. It seems like a really interesting game. It seems kind of like a more in-depth like lake where you're kind of living in this community.
Yeah.
And like you're preserving somehow, like whatever you preserve from this community of people will last into the future, because they were saying that they're all gonna like disappear or like cease to exist by this huge event.
Yeah, the
so
season's ending. They just keep talking about the season ending.
I'm tentatively interested in it. I hope it's like actually has like depth to it.
Yeah, I mean it's so stupid, but I was like, the thing that immediately I was like, oh, this looks fun. This looks like a fun game, was just seeing her ride a bike in like an open area. I don't know. I assume it's kind of an open world, but maybe it's not. But it's silly. But I was just like, I like the idea of riding a bike around this weird, potentially fantastical place. I wasn't even sure if it was like, is this our real world? I don't know what this is.
Yeah, I think it looks. It's kind of like what if you made like the art style is like Breath of the Wild's art direction, but with a system that can handle, you know, more shadows or whatever, where it's like it's beautiful and painterly, but like that little bit more technically complex that like the Switch probably couldn't run. I think it looks gorgeous. It's probably gonna like, I'm gonna play it with headphones because I bet since it's a game about like recording sounds, it's going to have amazing nature sounds happening all over the place, which just seems really cool to be like hearing cicadas or whatever. I think that game looks great. I'm really excited for it.
It's a continuation of this weird indie trend where like everything's about taking pictures of stuff. Like I don't know when that happened. I feel like it was the last 2 years. Every like 90%
Like all the
of
people who grew up playing Pokemon Snap are like, wait a second, I could make this.
I could just put this in my game on my own.
Everyone's like, shooting is a fun game mechanic, but we don't want to make a game with guns.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, hold on. You're onto something here. I think you're right. Then it all collapsed. It all fell apart. It all came to an end. I'm talking negative. It was very exciting. Final Fantasy 16, which started with Naoki Yoshida, who hopes that the game brings a little happiness in these hard times. Who's really feels bad for everyone.
And then they showed us a game about tyranny and death and really, really gritty. Probably the most gritty Final Fantasy I think we're going to see. Like very war-based, it's giving Game of Thrones. It's giving like, I read the plot and it sounds like the plot to one of my like isekai novels where they're like, the Duchy of so-and-so is up against the Empire of so-and-so. And so it just, wow, I'm interested to see where this goes.
Are you excited for it? Because it takes place in 14's world?
The icons, or the summons, look very similar to the Final Fantasy XIV primals in terms of design and everything, but in terms of world and character design, it doesn't quite... I thought it would look more similar to Final Fantasy XIV. I'm a little nervous about the gameplay, but I think as long as the story is solid, which I hope it will be, please, I think it'll be good.
As someone who doesn't know anything about the story, I thought the gameplay looked freaking rad. I was really excited by what I saw. I mean, it looked kind of like the 7 Remakes combat system, which is great and I love. And it also looked like a kaiju game.
Yeah.
There was so much footage of like just big things hitting each other, which I was really excited about.
It looks like you get to play as like Shiva, you get to play as Ifrit fighting like Bahamut or Garuda. That looks really cool. While there's like a war happening around your feet, so you're just like accidentally stomping on people, and they're like, "That's fine, we've got more."
Yeah,
so...
like I'm curious how that works because it looked very cutscene-y, right? When it was like, because there's summons in the previous Final Fantasy, right? Basically, is these like Ifrit and stuff like that. So. Are you in control? Do you turn into that thing and then you do a fight? Or is it just kind of like cutscene? Like Final Fantasy 15 treated it very strange, where summons were like based around story moments. They weren't, you couldn't really pull them out at any time. It was just like very specific times summons would happen. And they felt very like on rails cutscene moments. And they were cool, but I did kind of, after a certain point, I was like, I wish this fight that I'm struggling with, I wish I could just bring out one of these summons right now. And I'm just curious how that's gonna. It seems they're very focused on those. Like they got their own title cards.
That there are like characters in the game. I think they're called like the Dominant, and they're
right. They have like superpowers. I think,
yeah, and
right?
I think they can either summon or turn into the icons and like basically fight above the rest of the battle. But like they're basically fighting each other. They're like fighting their icons together, which will probably cause like great devastation, you know, to the average person who doesn't want to be at the foot of Garuda and Ifrit fighting.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be.
No.
It's also it's kind of, who knows if Bayonetta 3 will ever come out, but like that's another game about kaiju fighting. And so I would like, you know, if like last year was the game about time loops, if we have 2023 just to be about like kaijus, I would be very down for that.
Yeah.
Taking pictures of kaiju, yeah. There's a couple sequences in the trailer that showed what I'm assuming are like boss fights against other humanoid characters. Where
I thought
like
you were gonna bring up the nudity.
Oh please, yeah.
There was like one cutscene in the
bring that up.
trailer when there was like nudity, like, and it was implying that they had just like been, you know, intimate together, and I was like,
right.
Are they really trying to like age rate this higher? Like, they're really going for like, we've got blood, we've got gore, we've got nudity, we've got sex, we've got
all
it
the
all.
things that'll bring happiness in these dark times.
Yeah, in these dark times, what if your depression was a big monster and you could kill it?
That's the plot of that movie, that Anne Hathaway movie.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
with Goliath, gigantic, something like that.
Colossal.
Colossal. There you
Yeah.
go.
I think I like that
Big.
movie. That's a good movie. But I mean, I got distracted by the nudity, as Sarah mentioned. But there were like these fights where it was like your player character versus a boss, I guess, and their health bars were presented on screen like a fighting game, and the camera was almost like to the side, which was odd but interesting.
I kind of assumed that those were cinematics that would happen in the middle of fight. Like the place that the camera was just kind of looked like you couldn't actually fight from there. Like I think it will be a very cool game cinematically, and I also think they're just going to kind of, mess with what is gameplay and what's pre-scripted sequences.
Does anyone know the protagonist's name?
Clive.
Oh, you know the last name?
I literally was like just reading about
Is
it.
it really
before this.
Clive?
It's Clive. It's
It is.
Clive.
Clive
Let's see.
He's
Clive
British.
Rossfield, maybe Rosefield, R-O-S Field. Clive Rossfield, our favorite from Final Fantasy. And here's a game I like to play. Leo,
Hi.
will you play Final Fantasy 16?
It's not my thing. I barely
No.
played 15 because it had, driving in a car and staying in hotels and camping and stuff. That stuff was very
Camping
fun.
with my boys.
I was hoping that would be present here.
I gotta say, and I'm not like the biggest Final Fantasy fan by any means, but I do prefer the sort of more science fiction-y Final
I'm
Fantasy
the
7
opposite.
Sure.
look.
I prefer like the Final Fantasy 12. Like airship is the most futuristic, and I want an airship with a blimp. Like no mechanics. I like my high fantasy Final Fantasy games.
What is Steam acceptable anywhere?
I kind of
Depends.
prefer if it's like magic based. Like we use the
Okay.
mana in the atmosphere and the power of the crystals. Like no, get your science out of here.
I am excited for this. It's like I said, I'm not a huge Final Fantasy fan. I've played a bunch of them, but weirdly the first one that I actually played and beat and completed was 15. And I feel like once I saw credits on that, I was like, okay, well I'm in for the series now. Like I'll play them all moving forward. I don't really feel the need to go back, but yeah. So I even though the sort of fantasy element of it is like less enticing to me than the steampunk side of things, I think it looks cool. I think the combat looks really cool too, Jacob. I'm with you on that. Like I'm excited for it. What?
Well, next year you get to play it. Summer
I know. What is it?
2023.
Summer
2023.
2023. A lot of the stuff in the show like wasn't too crazy far off. I felt like
That
like,
was
I feel
the
like that was-
best surprise part of it for me, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we even mentioned that Stray is July 19th and it's going to be a PS Plus game, which is
And this
pretty cool.
season's game was coming out in fall.
Right. Yeah.
But it seems weird that they're releasing it in summer 2023 when I'm pretty sure Yoshi P said that the game was like almost complete.
In the
And then
blog,
they're like one more year.
in the blog, they said that the game can be played from beginning to end, and they're just cleaning up bugs and
This
stuff
better be
like that.
the cleanest
Hey,
game.
great. I mean, remake worked remarkably well out of the box, and it was real nice. Other than, Cloud's door.
Right.
That was
Which
the
they
one
fixed.
thing.
They fixed.
They did.
So
Also, the Callisto Protocol and Roller whatever are also coming out this year, apparently. So, good stuff.
Roller Drome, Jacob. We all
Sorry,
know it.
Roller
It's right
Drome.
off the Drome, if you will. I didn't have to scroll up through my notes to find the name again. Well, how did you guys feel about the presentation? Like, it felt E3 worthy to me. I feel like if that was like their E3 show, I would have been pretty happy. I mean, Resident Evil 4 was like killer for me. That's all I really needed. How do you guys feel about it? Are you happy with how it came together?
Yeah, I thought it was super fun and fast, and I'm glad they didn't stretch it out. But I think for like E3 standards, it might have needed like one or two more giant surprising things for me.
It was good. It didn't seem like they had a lot of like, I don't know, when they usually fill it up with a bunch of trailers of games that no one's gonna play. It felt like they only really presented kind of heavy hitters, I guess. Like whatever they presented, I was interested in. So it felt like a very tight show.
It's weird because like during press conferences when they during like an Ubisoft press conference when they show just like the developers talking about something, I'm like, boo, this sucks. But like when a presentation is truly just 30 minutes of trailers, I am like, maybe I could have used something to like break it up, something that's not a trailer. But like, like I said at the beginning, all killer, no filler. Like I was at least nominally interested in all of these games.
Jacob, you're acting like Horizon's narrative director Ben McCaw didn't pop up early on.
My apologies to Ben
I
McCaw.
think
You are right.
In that presentation. Oh, Yoshi P was also there to tell us that
That's
times
right.
are tough.
Yeah.
But in 1 year, we'll have Final Fantasy 16. So please play it in the meantime, Final Fantasy 14.
It's been a while since someone apologized for times being tough. I feel like we've all just come to understand that they're gonna be tough.
Yeah,
Times are times forever now.
Times are times. Am I right, guys?
It's all terrible, turns out. Except for when a new Final Fantasy comes along. Then everything is good.
Sweet relief.
That's So it wasn't all PlayStation this week. There's been some other things. I think the big one was probably the Pokemon trailer, which is funny to me. Gosh, Sarah, what are the names? Scarlett and
Violet.
I cannot retain those names. I don't know why. Scarlet and Violet.
They're not as like easily associated as like Sword and Shield, right? Like what does red and purple have to do? Purple's just a shade of red if you think about it. Like
and Diamond and Pearl kind of have a ring to it. I don't know.
And that's kind of how I feel about both of the games too, like Scarlet and Violet. Like the theming, which is past and future, it's okay, but to me it just seems it's not as like superfluous as like Diamond or Pearl or like Sword and Shield. Like past and future, I'm like, you're really making me make a choice here. Like like you get to choose between a dystopian cyberpunk future, or you get to like what Team Fossil Fuels. Like I'm so confused. Like how is this a choice? How is this a choice?
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's funny because when they announced it, it was right after Arceus, and it almost didn't feel real. If that makes sense. Like I was like, I know they showed like a little bit of footage and they have the starters and everything, but I for some reason I just didn't believe it was coming this year. We're now watching this trailer. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, no, we're getting a new Pokemon game this year, which is crazy. It still feels quick after Arceus.
Did y'all see the thing where they do have a bundle of both of them, and it costs $119.99, which is literally 1 cent more than if you bought them both separately, because that would be $119.98.
Oh my God.
So it's like, not only are you not saving, you are in fact spending more.
You get a steel case though, right? I mean, that's worth $5 extra or whatever. That's why you're saving the money, I assume. But yeah, I didn't have any huge takeaways from the trailer. It looks like Pokemon are walking around more. There's 4-player co-op.
Yeah, I want to see more of that.
Pretty big.
Yeah,
but they showed literally nothing. They were like, and you can all run up in different directions. And I was like, very cool. Love that I can run away from my friends. What else can we do?
It is a smart way to show it. Where the idea, I guess, right? They're pitching is that you can just go off and play Pokemon, and your friend will be playing Pokemon a couple miles to the east of you or something. I mean, that's kind of a cool idea, I guess.
It's a big leap though, because in Arceus, like the only other person was like trading or like finding lost bags, and like all of the lost bags that I found were like fake made up names. Like I very rarely did I actually, rarely did I ever encounter like an actual internet name. It was like Stacy, and I'm like, okay, Stacy.
It wasn't X Stacy X.
Yeah, it wasn't like yeah.
Yeah, we all know X Stacy X57, right?
Yeah.
Good friend of ours. But I mean, am I misremembering that in Sword and Shield in the open area, couldn't you run around with friends, or am I misremembering?
I didn't play Sword and Shield.
What?
Yeah, I know. I missed that one. That's like the only Pokemon game that I've missed.
My story with Sword and Shield is I brought it on a plane to play it, and my daughter just took it out of my hands and never gave it back. To this day, she still has it and is still playing it. So I played the first 5 minutes. It seemed solid.
You gotta parent her more, man. You can't let her push you around.
Like she's a bit of a bully when it comes to Pokemon. You just gotta live with it.
Yes.
I guess. Look, don't tell me how to parent my child. I honestly, she hadn't played a lot of video games up to that point, so I was actually really excited. I'm telling the story. I'm lying a little bit. I handed it to her. She didn't take it from me, but I did ask her.
You saw
back
her look at it, and you were like, "Do you want to play this? Do you want to play this? Come on, take it. Take Switch."
And she doesn't know if she wants Scarlet or Violet yet. She hasn't decided. It's a big decision to make. She's not ready.
I'm leaning Scarlet because I like the legendary a bit more. I prefer Koraidon over Miraidon, who has like jetpacks for legs.
Right. Wait. Can you explain? Can you describe them and which one's which?
Yeah. So Koraidon's like the red one who has like the motorcycle wheel for a chest. And then Miraidon has.
And no one has any questions about that. We can just go.
No. And like Miraidon has the like jetpacks for legs and is also like a spaceship bike. Like they both seem like they can turn into bikes. But Korai means like past in Japanese, ancient. Mirai means future. So we're really going like future versus past, and
both have bikes.
I don't know what are like the ramifications of that, and like I just need to know.
Yeah, we can play the game to find out, I guess. Along with that, the trailer and everything, it was more subtle, but they did share that Junichi Masuda, who is like was a composer early on and a director for many games and a producer. Like he is very important to Pokemon. He left the series development studio at Game Freak and he joined the Pokemon company as its chief creative fellow. I don't know what a CCF is, but he's doing it. And I'm happy for him.
Good for him.
My claim to fame with Junichi Masuda is I think if I saw him in public, I think he might remember me. He probably doesn't know my name, but he would have that glint in his eye where he'd be like, "We've met and spent time together."
Do I know that? I think I might know that person.
Yeah. We because Hanson and I went there to Game Freak and spent like 2 days with them talking about the history of Pokemon. So we're friends. We're best friends is basically what I'm saying.
We're really happy for you, Kyle.
Yeah, we're so happy.
I called him up and I said, "Congrats on the CCF role. I don't know what that is, but you're gonna kill it, man. Don't be nervous. Don't be anxious about it. You know Pokemon really well. You're gonna do great."
Here's a list of 19 Pokemon that I've come up with that I think would be good additions.
What about one that has like a wheel in its chest, like just a wheel?
I do believe
can make it
that
a legendary.
you came up with Smoliv and Lechonk. You can claim credit for both of those.
Smoliv is one of those like really great, presumably treehouse translations. That is just like you guys nailed it. You guys, there's not a better name.
It's so good that it's like, what could it be in Japanese that's as good as that? Like the pun work here.
Sarah's thinking about it. She's trying to come up with it.
I'm googling it.
Did anybody watch IGN's IGN First series? They had Sonic Frontiers. They showed some gameplay for it.
Yes, sir.
Leo, you're nodding. Are you excited about that?
Oh yeah. It was interesting. It opens on him standing in the big field and he's running through it and you're hearing Breath of the Wild style piano music and I'm like, why is this getting dumped on so much? It doesn't look that bad. And then when you start hitting Sonic style boosts and stuff and running up walls and collecting rings, it's like all the same old sound effects, which seems like really weird at this level of fidelity. And then, yeah, it kind of fell apart a little bit for me later in the trailer, the different moves they're doing and really bad pop-in and stuff like that.
When is the game set to come out? Does it have a date?
Good question.
This year is all I saw looking it up.
Because I feel like if that was, if it was just coming out late next year, I would be, this looks great, like cool direction to go. You'll figure out the stuff you do in the game later.
Right.
But since it's not coming out late next year, supposedly, it's like, the thing that everyone was saying that I do think is true is like, the bit on YouTube where someone makes like the castle from Mario 64 in Unreal Engine 5 and all the comments are like, Nintendo, hire this man. And it's like, just hired that man. Like they truly just like were like, what if we made Sonic an Unreal and didn't take it any farther than that?
Yeah.
He looks out of place, which is kind of his thing. Like he does a lot in a lot of games. Sonic 06, like probably the worst of the bunch, just because he was like in a city with normal looking humans as best the game.
But we
could
all
render.
loved it when
That
Mario did it.
werehog fit right in though. When he was a werehog, he was perfectly in his world.
But I will say, I mean, I'm way more likely to play this than any of the Sonic games since maybe 06. I think like 2006 when it came out, before we knew it was just a train wreck. I remember downloading the demo and thinking it kind of looked like Sonic Adventure. Like it looks like an upgraded Sonic Adventure, and then you played it for a while and you apologize to yourself for putting you through that. But this, and then everyone since then, I've really been uninterested in. But I will at least like I'll start this one for sure. Like I will play the opening hours.
Like
and
I
see
will
what
pick
think.
it up. I will load it
I'll
up.
Buy it.
I will buy it. But I'm also gonna play it. I'll probably play all of it because like I'm a Sonic 3D fan. No matter what, I'm gonna get through it. But
Good.
yeah, I was expecting Sega to justify why Sonic's in an open world, and I don't know if that gameplay did it because they just kind of went from like puzzle to puzzle, pretty basic puzzles like can you step on the lights without stepping off the lights, can you run around, can you turn a statue in this direction, and like the hovering of the rails in the sky was giving like I don't know like it didn't look like it was done. It looked like the
Like a
developers
line
had
rider?
left them. Yeah, had
Yeah.
left them in the sky for like testing or something. Because it's like you can see in the distance like rails popping in and out, and you're like, obviously, am I supposed to look at it and be like, how do I get to there? Like, how do I get to the sky? But instead, it just looked like, what is that hanging there?
Yeah.
Just chilling in the sky? Just gonna leave that there?
The pitch of it, like, I'm not a Sonic guy, but the idea of, like, a pretty open world with, like, platforming challenges and running around with that kind of traversal, I'm certainly interested in. But yeah, specifically what we saw.
I feel like it's possible that the story missions in that game will be great. You know, it's like if they have that world and they're combining it with, like, authored content, it will be cool, you know, where it's like, I don't know, chase this big thing down and there are like scripted events happening all over the place. That seems like it's got like really good potential. The thing that they failed to show off was like anything interesting to do when you're not in a mission. But like I agree with Kyle that it's like I'm still more interested in this than any previous Sonic for the past 15 years.
Right.
Yeah, and the plot so far is just like Sonic wakes up on a strange island, and I'm like, is this the most dangerous game with Sonic? I would love that. Like being hunted down by Robotnik. Like, let's go.
Does he
I'm
kiss
into
a
it.
human woman?
Again.
We need to know.
So the other we had the Star Wars celebration earlier this week, and they announced Star Wars Jedi Survivor with a pre-rendered trailer, totally pre-rendered. Raising my eyebrow.
So.
I'm not sure.
I mean, there certainly wasn't any gameplay, so there might have been some like in-engine cutscenes, but it was pre-rendered.
I was thinking about it. I like Star Wars. I'm an adult human who watched a lot of Star Wars as a kid. But I love Last Jedi. But outside of that, I was thinking, and I think Star Wars, was it Fallen Order, right? Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, very memorable name, is like the only Star Wars thing that I've like gotten into and excited about after Last Jedi. Like none of the TV shows have really clicked with me. Didn't really like the last movies, but so I was thinking about it like with asterisks. I think the Jedi like now series is like my current favorite Star Wars thing.
You watching that Obi-Wan show, Kyle? It's really good.
Yeah, my
I like that show.
No, I don't really. I've not to get in a big Obi-Wan side panel here, but I mean in terms of like the Star Wars shows, that's the one I've enjoyed the most so far. But yeah, no, I in terms of like things that I get excited about in the Star Wars like current universe, I think this is the one that I'm most excited about. Like I really liked Fallen Order a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. And so I mean, and like the sort of the trailer didn't really. It's not that it did anything that like particularly got me excited about what's next for the Jedi series. There's a person in a tube of water that I guess I'm supposed to maybe have an idea of who that is. I have no idea.
Tube man.
But I just like it's another Star Wars game from Respawn, a third-person action Star Wars game from Respawn. Like, bring it on! Absolutely, I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, all of my problems with Fallen Order were problems that really seem like they could be fixed in a sequel, where it's just like the jumping didn't feel as good as it could have, and like, you know, the maps were kind of confusing, and it's like all of that are just like kinks to be worked out, and like the foundation was really, really solid. I think that it's called Jedi Survivor, right? The new one,
Right? Yeah, Jedi Survivor.
I think that's a cool like subtitle. I think the idea of kind of it being like a desperate survival game, if that's what that implies.
It sounds like Jedi Among Us.
Oh,
That's right, and that's what I'm hoping for.
It sounds like it's gonna be like an Among Us clone.
Well, the problem with a Jedi Among Us is like Jedis refuse, as the Obi-Wan show has shown us, they refuse to not dress as Jedis, even if they're out trying to stay hidden in the world. I guess he just has a really limited wardrobe. I don't know, but it's like put on some jeans or something, man. Shave your beard.
yeah, invent jeans.
Invent jeans.
Someone in one of the original movies is wearing jeans. I absolutely guarantee.
Probably they digitally scrubbed it out after the fact.
There's an entry on Wikipedia for jeans.
Gosh, hold on. We got it. I want to Google that real quick. That's very important that I hold up the podcast to see if jeans exist on Wikipedia.
Chewbacca once had a dream about a thing called jeans.
Okay, not really seen any results for this. Okay. Blue jeans do not exist in Star Wars. Confirmed.
Wow.
Oh,
Yet.
crazy.
Maybe that's what Survivor will introduce.
Finally, blue jeans. It's a back of the box quote.
Yeah, you were pissed you just got different poncho colors on the first one? No, it's jean colors. It's always jeans.
It's just different shades of blue. Sorry. The best we could do on short notice. I also wanted to mention quickly, just in terms of just like weird announcements that happened this week, and this, it's a new game from Yu Suzuki, who is the Shenmue creator and director, Virtua Fighter. And he announced this game called Air Twister. And it's an Apple Arcade exclusive game, and it looks kind of like a Space Harrier spiritual successor, and it's like it looks crazy. There's like these giant swans that you're riding around on and stuff, and the soundtrack is from with this Dutch guy that I wasn't familiar with, but I guess is pretty well known, named Valencia, and it's like a lot of it sounds almost like a Queen music or something.
You posted that trailer. It sounds like if a Queen song was generated by AI. Like I was listening and I was like,
not bad, by the way. I do like it.
But it was just, I was like, is this a Queen? Like there kept being like 2 seconds that I was like, okay, that's from Killer Queen, but then it would like be different.
Yeah, and then that's all this backdrop of like this person inexplicably floating through the air with a gun, Space Harrier style, and like riding giant swans, and there's like giant fish carrying like helium globes with houses hanging from. It looks crazy. It looks really weird, and I'm gonna play it. I'm excited for it. I want to see Yu Suzuki take a Shenmue break, but I don't want him to give up on Shenmue forever. He can just work on this and then get back to Shenmue, and I'd be happy. Sarah, do you know how this whole thing operates?
Patreon.
You nailed it. You're so smart.
Wow, you're better at getting that out of people than Hanson is.
I know. Everyone's always put on the spot. They're so nervous and they don't know what to say and they just make things up. But this week, MinnMax is continued to be sponsored by I'm 8-Bit, which we're continually grateful for having them be involved with us, like since basically the beginning. It's awesome. Right now they're promoting the Muppet movie final soundtrack. It's not the final soundtrack. There might be more Muppet movies with soundtracks in the future. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it's the soundtrack's reimagined for the first time in over 40 years, and it's been completely remastered for vinyl. There is one LP that is Kermit Green, which is the I Am 8-Bit exclusive edition, and then there's one that's Miss Piggy Pink. and it's got classics like Rainbow Connection and Moving Right Along. You guys know those songs. You love those songs. And right now, you can get 10% off of everything under $100 on im8bit.com by using the promo code JUNEBUG, JUNEBUG, no spaces, JUNEBUG. And of course, we're going to have question of the week. I need you guys to help me with this. I know every week Hanson is like, help me with this, and then we all nod, and we all just
but we normally have Hanson to do it.
And then at the end, he still has to sort of remind us, not this week. You guys are really genuinely going to help me to the point where it's going to upset Hanson, and he's going to be like, why don't they do this every week?
Love it.
But we're going to choose question of the week, and they're going to get a physical copy of Spinch on Switch.
Spinch.
Yeah.
Can I announce some breaking news that just came through that I think only Kyle will care about?
Yes, please.
So there's a Peacock is making a Twisted Metal TV show. Bizarrely, like the car combat Twisted Metal game. And one of the voices that was just announced alongside Will Arnett, who will be Sweet Tooth, is Mike Mitchell of the Doughboys.
Nice.
Will be voicing one of the characters in the
is he the
Twisted
Spoon
Metal
Man?
show.
Spoon
Yeah,
Man?
the Spoon Man himself is going to
my
be
gosh.
Stu of the... I just Googled, there's a pair, Mike and Stu, who are described as clueless and looking for excitement, parentheses, and chicks. So,
I was
Look
hoping
forward to
the
that.
Tomorrow War would be a breakout for him, but then I saw it and he had like 4 lines, so I wasn't optimistic.
I think
Well,
he was great in that movie.
It got Chris Pratt on the Doughboys podcast, so it worked out for us.
Yeah,
Guys,
that
listen
was
to that
great.
episode. Talking about his time at Bubba Gump Shrimp.
When's Nick Weiger gonna guest on MinnMax?
Honestly, open invitation to those guys to come on anytime. If you're not familiar with the show, they review fast food chains, and Nick Weiger worked in the video game industry for some time. I believe he worked on the Final Fantasy movie tie-in video game, if I remember correctly.
And the the Sopranos game?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, for PlayStation 2. And then Mike Mitchell once talked about how he played Skyward Sword on Switch. So you know he's into video games. I actually tried to reach out to them. I wanted him to come on and talk about Skyward Sword, but I didn't get any headway there. So, open invitation.
This is amateur hour talking so much about this other podcast that's not Blank Check. This is not cool to do on the show.
You're right.
But they've already been on. They're
right,
already
that's
friends
true.
of the show.
Yeah. Really trying to get Spider-Man 2 actually running on my Steam Deck after their recent Spider-Man 2 episode. Want to revisit that game. Don't have a physical copy of it, unfortunately. Love Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's get into community questions. The first one is from Taylor C. Did Ben get married this weekend? Yes.
Yes.
Can confirm.
Next question.
Chris Logan asks, hey, Ben, I don't know who that is, Ben and the Horts, which is more accurate? The Switch is a handheld console that can be displayed on a television, or the Switch is a home console that has a portable option?
I would be surprised if anybody
handheld.
here doesn't think handheld first.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And not even because of like the sort of the technical capacity of the system. I personally play it on handheld like 80% of the time. I really rarely plug it into a TV.
99% for me.
I mean, if you look at like any given commercial for the Switch, like the amount of time that they're playing it docked versus handheld, you know, is like 20/80.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. Hold on, guys.
Oh.
There might be a burp coming. Get ready to mute this, Leo. I assume you have the power to do that.
Maybe.
Okay,
Leo,
no,
put
we're
your
okay.
finger on the
He's
mute
looking at all
button.
his button. He's like, I don't know.
Leo, figure out how to do something you were completely unprepared to do. Quickly.
You also have a mute button.
No, I got to pay attention to these notes, man. I'm
You're right.
I gotta
I'm
read
under a
these
lot of pressure
questions.
here.
Hands are full.
This next one comes from Canadian. Do you think Nintendo will ever remaster Super Smash Bros. Melee, the GameCube Super Smash Bros.?
No.
I don't think they ever will.
No, I mean, I think, you know, I don't want to ascribe too much personality to a company, but it's like, I think they borderline regret that game. that it's like just the vibe of Melee is so not what Nintendo is now that it's like I just don't think they're ever gonna do it.
Yeah.
I also just think that they feel like internally I bet the reaction is like, why would anyone go back to that? We have the Switch version that has all the characters in it. Why don't you guys just play that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Schultz asks, do you have a game that really helped you get through being sick? Me and my 17-month-old daughter both just had COVID. Sorry to hear that, Chris. And while she was sleeping on me, I was quietly playing Fallout 76. Hot take, not a bad game. I don't think that's a hot take anymore. Really, people have turned around on that game, right?
Yeah. They're good.
One of them's on this podcast right now.
Could be any one of us.
Who is it?
So yeah, games to play while you're sick or getting over a sickness. Do you have a go-to or maybe one specific experience?
I always stick to the Stardew Valleys, the Graveyard Keepers, any kind of game that feels like a small job that I can feel like I'm productive while I waste away.
Without having to concentrate
quietly.
too much.
Yeah, so you can put it down pretty easily, and it's not do or die. Fallout 76 is probably not the game that I would have picked up while I was sick, but I need something a little more slow pace.
It is pretty jobby though.
Yeah, that's true.
You do have a lot of obligations.
You do.
It's not really being sick per se, but when I had my wisdom teeth removed many years ago, that was the time frame that for whatever reason I really got into Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I was just laying in bed with my mouth hurting, and I just mainline Symphony of the Night. I would basically just play it and go back to sleep and play it. And that got me over the sort of, I guess you could say, Castlevania hump. I had tried a couple other ones, none of them really clicked for me. I heard Symphony of the Night was really good, and I didn't really like it at first. But then I got over the hurdle, and now I love all those games. I played all the Game Boy Advance ones and the DS ones. Basically, before Symphony of the Night, I don't really care. But after Symphony of the Night, yes, please.
All because you were sick.
All because I was sick.
Wow.
You guys didn't thumbs up this next question, but I'm going to read it because it gives me the opportunity to brag that I'm reading a book, which is very exciting.
Okay. Here we go.
Juan Jabara asks, anyone been reading any good books lately?
David, I feel like I meant to thumbs that up.
Oh, you did? Well, I'm sorry. You can't answer it, Jacob.
All right.
Sorry. But no, please answer. But for me, it's the only author I really get excited about and pre-order, and I even checked to see if it was on my Kindle after midnight, was David Sedaris' new book. Love David Sedaris. I've only read the first 2 or 3 chapters, and one of the chapters was an essay that he had released 2 years ago, where he talks about how he got annoyed with his nephews playing their Switch so much, which was really exciting for me to hear David Sedaris writing about video games. So that's what I've been reading lately. I love David Sedaris, favorite author.
I read this at the beginning of this year, but it's become one of those things that I just tell everyone to read all the time. The author Patricia Lockwood is very good. She's popular on Twitter for a tweet about nudging her cat Miette, and Miette saying "jail for mother, jail for 100 years," which you might have seen. But she's a very funny author. Her book Priest Daddy, which is a memoir about her father being a Catholic priest, which in itself is kind of a whole series of things. Maybe my new favorite book. It's a memoir about a not famous person, and the only reason that it's my favorite is because of how good of a writer she is. But just read this book. It's just great.
What's it called again?
Priest Daddy by Patricia Lockwood is my new favorite book.
Sweet. Is it funny?
Yes, it's very funny.
Okay, because that's, David Sedaris. I like a good, funny memoir.
Kyle, I think this will be right up your alley. And if you like that, she released a book last year as well called No One Is Talking About This. That is also very good, and I think reads even better if you've already read Priest Daddy.
Okay, I added it to my wish list as we were discussing here.
Nice.
So good job, Jacob.
Since you guys got to brag, I'm gonna brag that I am reading Traditional Japanese Literature, Anthology to the 1600s.
Hey!
Ask me about my Kojiki.
What's it by Kojiki?
Kojiki's like one of the. It's kind of like the, I don't know, the Greek mythology of Japanese.
Is it in English?
Oh yeah, I mean, not the Kojiki's not, but in this book it's in English. It's not the entire
Gotcha.
book. It's
Well, I
just
just didn't know if you were
page.
reading a book in Japanese. Do you
I
read?
mean, I have Japanese books, but this book is about Japanese literature in English.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Way
Way more impressive than my pick.
I guess since you guys are bragging, I'll say I've been reading my notices from the IRS. They suck. They're boring. I can't get through them. Not recommended.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, maybe try audiobook. You might like that better.
Thank you.
Audible.com/Jacob Geller. I've heard that's a good promo code to
God.
use.
There you go. This is actually a question maybe I should have, pulled a Hanson and brought up earlier into the podcast. That would have been smart. But Philly Yeatsteak asks, "Hey y'all, what is your interest level in PSVR 2? Would it be smarter for Sony to make it identical to the Quest to be more compatible with third-party games, or make it more unique with more exclusives?"
Please, no more exclusives.
Please.
Please. No more exclusives.
Well,
Knock
I
it
guess
off.
so the exclusives as opposed to there being like cross PC VR and PSVR games.
Yeah, I guess they're asking, like, should they have done a headset that will just play more third-party things, like almost like the Xbox approach, or should they focus on giving us more Astrobot rescue missions?
Well, there's nothing about Astrobot that couldn't be played on any other headset.
No,
I
not at
don't
all.
think. I mean, now they have their controllers look like every other VR controller now, so that implies cross compatibility. I'm really excited about this thing. The failing of the old PSVR was that it had to run on a PS4, which was like a computer from 2012 or whatever. But it's like the PS5 is like as powerful as my current computer, and I know what like playing Half-Life Alyx on my current computer looked like. And so if they're pushing games that look and play like that, that's awesome. That's all I need.
I played a lot of PSVR for Game Informer, like reviewed the hardware, reviewed a bunch of games. I love Astrobot Rescue Mission, but despite that, I really never felt compelled to buy a PlayStation VR. But despite them not really sharing a ton of details, I mean, we know what it looks like. We know there's eye tracking. You know what I mean? Like, I guess there's not a ton to know beyond those things. But in any case, like, for some reason, like this one, I'm way more interested in. Maybe it's like the single cable is also kind of a selling point for me or something.
Yeah.
But like, I think I'll be there day one and pick one up.
Nice.
Do you I mean, Leo, you're kind of Mr. VR, but you're probably pretty happy with Quest. And Sarah, I know you kind of got into the VR world recently. Like, are you happy where you are? You're not really interested in the PlayStation side of things?
Well, it's like, I just can't justify owning multiple VR headsets.
Same.
Like, I feel like I can justify multiple consoles, but the idea that now I also need to have multiple VR headsets to play exclusive games, like, it's just not going to happen. Like, what's the point of exclusivity? I already own a headset. I'm not going to buy another one.
I don't know what they could do that would get me to buy it, even though I am so grateful for all the changes they're making. It seems so much better than the previous one, and it totally looks like a cool piece of technology. I just don't think I would ever possibly want to get another headset that I would have less friends that also have. And plus Quest with AirLink is like the best VR experience you can have. I wouldn't want to go back to having a cable.
Do you think before your eyes would come to PSVR 2 with the eye tracking, stuff like that? Do you think that, because that game is very passive, I haven't played a lot of it, right? But you're like, is it built in 3D? Like, that could work in VR really well, right?
Easily it could, yeah.
Yeah, it would. I mean, I don't know anything about game development. It seems like it would be almost, completely natural.
Because I was just thinking, like, with the eye tracking, like, that would be a really cool, like, sort of thing that would, like, its exclusivity would be justified with the eye tracking, because, like, other headsets wouldn't have that necessarily, unless, like, whatever Quest 3 is, like, already developing that or something.
I'm halfway convinced that Quest 2 actually has it, but they just don't use it for games, and Facebook just uses it for, like, selling you eye drops or something.
You keep mentioning this company. I don't know what this is.
You're right. I'm hallucinating. I'm making stuff up.
Okay, as long as we all agree. Joshua asks, "Hi everyone. We all know that chicken is king in fowl meat in America. Fowl with a W, not foul as in bad. FOWL. But why does turkey reign supreme when it comes to deli sandwiches? Good question. I
Does
discovered
chicken come sliced the way turkey
does.
does?
Yeah, totally.
Really?
Like, you can totally get it at the deli, and I remember I don't know why this is like a college memory. I guess that's when I kind of first started buying groceries for myself. But I was like, oh my god, you can get like sliced chicken for a sandwich? This is great. I love chicken. And
I don't know if
it's
I'd want to see chicken sliced. I don't know. Why is that so uncomfortable?
I'm really not ready for that.
well, I mean,
I can see it shredded chicken,
Yeah.
okay, but the idea of it sliced, I don't know. I'm a ham girl when it comes to sandwiches, so I'm already not in this argument.
Gotcha.
I'm
well,
sitting
the thing
outside
that I
of
was
the ring.
the thing that I was building to with great anticipation was I was really underwhelmed by the deli
Oh.
chicken.
By your sliced chicken.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It doesn't even really taste like chicken. I don't know. I don't even have a memory of what it tasted like. So, turkey I think has a good flavor that works well with bread. Where chicken, if it's not like a chicken breast or fried or something, I just don't think it really works.
Can I tell you what meat reigns supreme for deli sandwiches?
Let's hear it.
Pastrami, baby.
Let's go.
Love a pastrami sandwich.
Let's go.
Hashtag pastrami. Hashtag ham girl going ham. See what else we got here. Josh Duperoy asks, "Hey, MinnMax." They put 2 X's there. I don't know why, but just 1 X, 2 N's, 1 X.
3 X's.
No,
You've been fighting
Leo.
those off in the chat, Leo.
Yeah.
I've been watching.
Leo's
You're-
been fighting.
You're the one that's gonna have to edit this
spam
stuff
bot.
out. I don't know why you're bringing it
This
up.
podcast is brought to you by nakedhd.fun. They're all over our stream chat.
Look, Sarah's the one that brought up the nudity in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I
16,
did. Well, and then I
okay?
awkwardly looked to the side while the sex spam bot was going off. I was like, do they know?
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
should
they
have
heard
saved
you.
that.
Did they
They
hear
really, they should have saved that for Final Fantasy 30. I know they got a ways to go, but they really should have held off on that one. With the start of summer upon us, I was wondering if any of you were going to take advantage of the somewhat slow release schedule, not discounting Mario Strikers or Xenoblade 3, of course, to catch up on some old games. As a fan of the Persona and SMT series, I'm finally going to check out Soul Hackers on 3DS is in anticipation of the second one's release in August. So in this lull, are you guys going into the backlog?
Absolutely. I am still trying to play through all of the Yakuza games in order.
The what games?
The Yakuza games.
Yakuza. Gotcha,
I'm trying
okay.
to play through every single Yakuza game in order before I'm allowed to play Like a Dragon. And I'm on 4. So whenever there's a lull, I'll usually pull out a Yakuza game, but it's Janet's been streaming Like a Dragon, and she's like, wow, this game is so fun, so good, and I'm in Yakuza 4, and I'm like, wow, that must be wonderful.
Yeah,
I would love to try it.
I was wondering if anyone had told you that that's entirely unnecessary.
I
You can
started
just skip
it.
to 7.
I said I would do it, and now I have to do it. And I think if I can get to Like a Dragon before they release or announce Yakuza 8, I will be happy. I don't know if I
I've
will,
already
though.
started. I played through Prey for the first time, which I had never played before. Which turns out
The recent one, right?
the new one, yeah,
New
very good game. Basically, a good BioShock, which I had heard people say before, but when I was playing it, I was like, oh damn, this feels like playing BioShock. Yeah, I don't know. I might try to legally and not emulate play some old games on the PS2 or whatever that I've been meaning to get to forever.
At the beginning of the year, I sort of got us set up to play Mother 3. Like I have it on a cartridge that I can play on a Game Boy Advance with an English translation. And I got about halfway through, and then Elden Ring came out. And so I'd like to get back to Mother 3. I would like to have that on my list of life achievements that I beat Mother 3.
That'd be nice.
So I could speak about it with some authority. Mick Manga asks, I'm curious to see what you all think of this thought experiment. I was wondering if a fishing or cooking game actually got a 10 out of 10. Do you think it would be possible that game to take home Game of the Year? So the thought experiment here is there's a fishing game that comes out, it gets a 10 out of 10. Would it win Game of the Year at the end of the year debates? Mick Manga says, personally, I just couldn't imagine it actually winning. Like, for example, say it came out next year and Breath of the Wild 2 got a 9 to a 9.5 generally. I think Zelda would take Game of the Year, generally speaking.
Yeah.
So myself, I'd probably give it to a Zelda.
We're thinking, like,
It
any
depends
niche outlet?
Yeah, it depends. Like, it's not going to win, like, the Video Game Awards Game of the Year, but, like, it could win my Game of the Year.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if there was a fishing game that was so exciting and good that I got a 10 out of 10, I mean, a good game's a good game. You know, if something, like, really just, like, totally blows everyone out of the water and surprises everyone. Like, I don't know what that game would look like. I don't know how a fishing game could take me to 10 out of 10 territory. Maybe some, like, really amazing heartfelt story that I just have to see to the end and the fishing is actually fun. I don't know what it would be. But yeah, I think so. You know, you never know.
I have no doubt.
I mean, that's what
someone could do it.
I was gonna say. It's like a Game of the Year just needs to feel like emotionally important to me, and so it's like that could be in a fish game. You know, that was in a blinking game last year for me, so it's like it's not impossible.
If you'd asked me last year, could a blinking game win Game of the Year? I said no chance.
But what's a blinking game, first of all? Second of all. Congratulations, everyone. This is from Crater. Congratulations.
Thank
You've
you.
been cast as an NPC in an upcoming RPG. Unfortunately, you're one of the NPCs who can only say the same single sentence over and over. What's your one sentence going to be?
Is this like a high fidelity 3D RPG, or is this more like a top-down SNES?
Can you set
High
the
fidelity
scene? Is this like after the great calamity is hit, or like at the very beginning of the game where there's like still hope?
The season's
for the
coming to
world?
an end, Sarah. The season
Okay.
is ending.
Hmm.
And I was thinking like 16-bit because I feel like
Okay.
once you get into 32, I feel like characters start having at least a couple lines of dialogue. But 16-bit, like there is one character who will just say the same thing over and over. And I'm like, personally, mine would be like, give me currency, right? Give me rupees, and then like there would be a little dialogue that would come up, and you could give as many as you want, and like people would be Googling that constantly, like, why am I giving this one NPC money? If I give him enough, will it unlock something? And then I'll just be the beneficiary of that within that game world.
Yeah. I would have it be like you have a little thing coming out of your nose. You know, you got a little
Oh
booger coming
God,
out of
not
your
one of
nose.
the snot kids.
And,
No, Leo.
but they would be like, in my case, Googling, how do I remove this? You know? But then it's just in their head that they have it the whole time.
I would have my unofficial catchphrase that I didn't realize I said a lot until I started making videos is I think about it a lot. And so it would be like a vague hint in the game, but then it would never update. So it would be like once I saw a cave behind that waterfall. I think about it a lot. And then it would be like, well, surely after I go to that cave, it will update. And then you'd go back to me and I would still be saying that. And it would be like, oh, I guess I used up that NPC.
Mine would be like, I wish there was like a hero around, and even when you come back as a hero, I'm still gonna say it because it's not
Yes.
gonna change. So I'm that like one frustrating NPC who will not acknowledge your power growth no matter what you do. I'll just be like, really wish we had some heroes around here.
Just variations on that even. God, time for a hero if you ask me. Hey, MinnMaxers from Bear Commando. Which buffs would you prefer to be applied to you in real life? All food is free for you, so that's one option. Or two, you can eat as much food as you want with no negative effects to your health.
Oh, food
So
Sarah,
it's
what's
free
your
food,
pick?
or like you don't gain weight, or like die
Yeah.
of diabetes. I
It's
want the free
it's
food.
really
I want the free food.
Me too.
it's really a class question, huh? Because it's like if you're
I
rich
guess so,
enough
yeah.
that food doesn't affect you, then being able to eat a bunch is the better one. But
Yeah, just ask us if we're poor next time.
Yeah. Hey, this is Bear Commando asking this question.
I mean, I think,
This
the
happened, yeah.
free food, because you could go to one of those, like, unbelievably expensive, it's like a $600
gold
restaurant
on
where they
things.
feed you, like, tiny little things. And
The
it's like,
chef
yeah,
hand
that...
feeds you like a baby bird.
Mhm.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. It would be nice to just not have, just cut that part of my budget out of my life, right? Just never have to worry about that again. That'd just be handy.
Yeah.
Remove a lot of stress. Okay, let's
Would
see.
you still get Domino's rewards points, though?
Ooh.
Is my question.
Ooh,
If you can
that-
email about that
you
next
know
week.
that's a deal breaker.
Well,
Yeah.
what would you use them for?
It's the journey, not the destination. Jacob, you'll understand
Or
that someday.
The brownie things with the chocolate inside of them, you know, the little
those
lava
don't
cakes.
count as food you can get for free.
The what? Oh, let's throw this whole thing out the window. Reed asks, "Hey cohorts, I listened to a recent episode where at least one of you, not naming names, said they were skipping cutscenes. If it wasn't the first playthrough, then I could understand. Has reviewing games with bad stories worn you down to just want good gameplay? Do you like game stories with a message or moral? Does your answer change for other forms of media? Thanks." To answer that last question, in other forms of media, I don't skip cutscenes. I don't throw on Stranger Things and just fast forward to the end, and so it like marks it as complete on my Netflix.
Oh, maybe you
account.
should.
Oh, I like the new season.
I'll skip intros sometimes.
Yeah,
you know.
Sure.
Uh,
I'm a big skipper when it's not grabbing me, but mostly I do it when it's like with Ghostwire Tokyo recently. It's a lot of cutscenes up front, and it's like, why would I invest emotions into this story when I have no idea if I'm going to like this game or not? And so I'm like blasting through the cutscenes because the gameplay isn't feeling that fun, but I stick with it and I grow to like really like playing that game, and then I
you're like,
start
"What's
to watch the
happening?"
cutscenes. Yeah. And it's sometimes
favorite is
more
people-
interesting to be confused a little bit. and
Yeah,
be
people
putting
who
stuff
skip
together.
cutscenes, then they're like, that's me in like the Final Fantasy 14 updates. Like I played through the main story, didn't skip any cutscenes, but it's like when they do the updates between the big kind of, I don't know, like the Endwalkers, I do sometimes skip. I'm like, I see where this is going. This is very boring. I have other things I need to do. Like I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm leveling. I'm crafting. I'm like skip.
Skip.
You know, I will. In terms of other media, if I'm reading like a nonfiction book, I will totally skip chapters if it's on just like a boring thing. You know, it's like if it's like, here's a story about building New York, and like one chapter is on like the childhood of one of the architects, I'm like, I don't care. Skip that part.
I do remember my dad when I was probably like fifth or sixth grade or something like that, and my dad just, for whatever reason at that time in his life, decided to read Moby Dick. And I remember him telling me, like as I was pretty young, he's like, if you ever like want to read Moby Dick, like if you read Moby Dick, like I'll tell you which chapters you can skip. Which I just thought was such an interesting idea.
Like anime filler episodes. Like
Yeah,
you only need to watch
yeah.
these to understand the plot.
I guess there's like a chapter about a specific color or something in that game, or that book. And my dad was like,
I
"That
love
yeah,
that
you
he
can skip
took
that."
time out of his day to impart this wisdom on you. Like, look, son, if you ever need to read this book, you come to me first.
You come to
I mean,
me.
there are those like abbreviated versions of literary classics that I've always been kind of mystified by, because it's like, well, why would you? Like, I feel like you couldn't really say you read it if you read the abbreviated version. But I recently read the original Frankenstein, which like has some great chapters and like a lot of real duds. And so like I totally could have read the abbreviated version of Frankenstein.
Did you know, Jacob? I don't know if you know this, but it's actually Frankenstein was the doctor, and then it was Frankenstein's
Oh,
monster. Yeah.
I skipped that chapter.
Oh,
my
see,
God.
Yep.
The book's
I like
called
this question.
Dr. Frankenstein and His Monster.
And his monster. And that's like written in cursive. It's like and friends. This question from Timothy Pitts I like because well, let's get to the question. The first movie I saw in a theater was The Great Mouse Detective in 1986, which was the same for me. That's the first movie I saw in a theater. So we're already friends here, Timothy Pitts and I. At the climax of the movie, the projector malfunctioned, and the film strip began to melt. My 3-year-old mind processed this as blood dripping down the screen. The theater offered refunds, and to this day, I've never finished the movie. What piece of media have you never finished for a bizarre reason? That story is horrifying. Can you imagine the first movie you've ever seen, and that's the core experience, is seeing the film strip melt? Oh my God, I understand why he remembers that to this day.
I went to see Bugs Life with my cousins, and I started crying when the bugs were so big. I had to be removed from the theater and taken home.
And this
I
was like
have
a
since-
recent, like they put it back in theaters in the
Yeah,
last
but like I have
couple
since
years.
seen Bugs Life, but I did have to leave the theater because the size of the bugs was too overwhelming for me.
Understandable.
I once went. This is not something I've never finished, but I went to an outdoor screening of Return of the King with my mom, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, and it was like years after the movie had come out, and people were like dressed up for it, and the projector also malfunctioned, and my mom, who had never seen it, was like, "Well, what happens?" And like everyone was like staring at her, like, "You idiot! You don't know what happens at the end of this movie."
That's just rude. They're being mean to your mom.
Well, they were in character, probably.
Yeah,
All those meanies.
the characters in Lord of the Rings are real assholes about people who haven't read
Or
it.
they just don't know, what a movie is.
Procyon number 6 asks, "Hey Ben, not sure who that is, and friends, no judgment, but how soon after your plane lands do you stand up?"
If I'm in the aisle right away, otherwise I wait till it's my damn turn.
I stand up, but that's usually just because I don't want to sit anymore. Not in like
Right.
but I wait my turn as well.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get out, but like, you gotta stretch the legs. Even though if you stand up and you're not on the aisle, then you're like bent down under the ceiling, and so
Much better.
It's not more comfortable, really. It's just enacting agency.
Right.
I wait. I don't stand up until like it's time to stand up. Because I don't know. I feel like everyone's
Do you
being...
take your seatbelt off at least?
Yeah, I take the seatbelt off, and maybe I'll get my bag and like put it on my lap. But like, yeah, I'll unless I'm like in pain or something, like I'll stand up and stretch and sit back down. But like, I don't know. It just makes the whole experience more anxious when like everyone's standing up and we're not going anywhere for 10 minutes,
Right.
So I try to lead the charge. I try to start a trend of like, let's all just sit
Let's all
down.
just sit.
Let's just relax a little bit here. We made it to where we're trying to be. We don't need to rush anymore unless you have a connecting flight. That's a whole different story. Let's see. Hey, Max Crew. This is from Mark Johnson. When I was little, I wanted to be an archaeologist due to my love of dinosaurs. By middle school, I wanted to be an FBI agent. I'm 37 now and an electrician. So none of that happened. Haha, they write. What type of career dreams did the kitty Max Crew have?
Archaeologist was a big one for me early on as well, because I was just couldn't be more obsessed with dinosaurs. But more memorably, there was one time when the mayor of Durham came to our elementary school, and he was asking kids, what we wanted to be, and I had started playing Roller Coaster Tycoon recently, and so I said a theme park designer, and he said, "That's interesting."
That's a good kid answer. It's a
Yeah.
good adult
Yeah.
answer, too. If I met someone that was like, "Oh, I had designed theme parks," I'd be like, "Let's chat for a little while. You sound interesting." Not to bring up my father again, but like the world's biggest baseball fan, and because of that, for what I don't know why, but when I was young, I was like, "Well, I want to be a baseball player," which is in retrospect like the most absurd thing in the world. I don't get into sports. I'm not a sports person. I played baseball in like little league. It was like a dream.
Did you
want to
be a baseball player when you were in Little League, or did you stop playing baseball and still somehow think you were going to aspire to be a baseball player?
It was definitely during Little
Okay.
League, for sure. And it was 100% because I thought my dad would think it's cool.
Oh,
Yeah. And then
I
it
wanted-
was
wanted to be a-
animator for a long time for me.
animator.
Yeah, which I'm not an artist. I don't really draw.
I'm
I just
not
love
an artist. Like, I don't play sports. I'm not an artist. Like, how are you picking your... Okay, I guess I can't judge because I really wanted to be
No,
a
it's
marine
okay.
biologist. For some reason, like, a bunch of
Classic.
kids want to be a marine biologist. I don't like touching fish, and I
That's a
don't
big
like
part of it.
swimming. And so I don't know what I thought was going to happen.
I think it's part of being a kid is you think when you turn into an adult, you just transform into a different person with a ton of skills.
Right.
Also, it's like you only know about so many jobs.
Right.
I was like,
Yeah.
maybe I'll be a teacher. Being a teacher is like one of the 5 jobs that exists. It's the one that I see every day.
The first job I
That's a good
remember wanting was to like host the Tonight Show, which I never watched or liked. But I was like, I feel like that'd be fun.
But you were like, I love classic cars.
Yeah, I could really
So
vibe
funny.
with the other hosts.
I mean, you would be a good talk show host for what it's worth. I don't know why I'm hosting this week when you're literally
I was
right
so grateful you're hosting.
here. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
We got to do some missed joke opportunities. These are very important. Got to get a couple of these in here. Adam Cohen, missed joke opportunity. Last episode, Ben and Kelsey were joking about Ben having a podcast network for Kelsey to talk about her job called MinnMax. Kelsey asked, is that one or two N's? Ben said, I don't know exactly. It's kind of funny. Kelsey or someone else should have said, oh, it's on Kind of Funny. They have a great network.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really screwed that one up. I wasn't there for that, but I'll take the blame.
I don't
William.
think any of us were there for that.
Yeah, wait, hold on a second. Why am I reading these? Let's see. William Hiddle. Scribbledy-doo, MinnMax crew. That's a Chrono Cross reference. Go check out the Chrono Cross Deepest Dive. I'm writing in with another missed joke opportunity. In a recent episode, Leo said, the genre hasn't clicked with me since I was a kid about the point-and-click adventure game genre, and he clearly should have said, as I'm sure you can guess before even reading what I'm about to write, the genre hasn't point and clicked with me since I was a kid. I kept waiting for someone to make the joke as it seemed painfully obvious, but no one even hinted that they were thinking it. I demand more Dragon Quest quality pun humor from MinnMax. Go get on that, scribbledy-doo. That's it for me.
I appreciate the full thought process there.
Leo,
Time
how does
slowed
it feel that any given listener could do the job better than any of us could? They were all
Powerful.
thinking that.
It makes me feel like I'm in charge.
Hindsight's 2020. What is good hearing called? What do you call it? Is it eyes or 2020? What are good ears?
Big.
That's right, big ear.
Don't set us up for failure because people are gonna write in the missed joke opportunity about this.
You're
You're just
right.
setting
Yeah.
us up for failure.
We're just handing this to them on a silver platter.
Can we just say the first half of a joke and then people can write in with the
Right?
Missed joke opportunity.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I feel like that was actually a Comedy Bang Bang improv game for a while. Is that someone would start a joke and then someone would have to come up with the punchline? Does that sound familiar?
Vaguely.
Speaking of other podcasts,
That sounds
on our
really
podcast?
hard.
I know
Yeah.
it was. It was never good.
That's why I
It
want
was
the
always
community
terrible.
to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Beefcake asks, "Hey, I got a Steam Deck. Can you recommend a game perfect for Steam Deck that's not on Nintendo Switch? Thanks, beautiful people." I got a Steam Deck recently. Very exciting. Downloaded a ton of games for it. Some play great, some not as good, but it has 100% become a Vampire Survivors machine.
I was like, you know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's perfect for deck, I guess. Like it's so good. You basically have the control stick and like the occasional A button, and it's great on deck. It runs great. It works great. It's fun. Yeah, get that. $3.
Kind of shocking that it's not on Switch, but Inscription. Inscription, I think, would be a very good Steam Deck game.
Yeah.
It's that funny thing with Switch where we'll occasionally be like, oh man, that would be a perfect game for Switch. And then it's like when you dig deeper into that phrase, you're like, what about being on Switch makes it like better? And that's kind of the same thing with deck. Like if it runs and it works well. Like I was playing what's not the Arkham trilogy, Batman, the prequel. Gosh, I can't remember the name. Origins, yeah. Which I'd only played once when it came out, and I started playing that on Steam, and I was like, this is great. Looks great. Runs great. It's Batman. Let's go.
I feel like it's like I don't want to play a cinematic game handheld. So that's like when I'm like I don't want to play this, on Switch, is like Marvel Spider-Man is not a game that I wish was on Switch, even though I'm sure it would be fun.
Yeah.
Or Steam Deck, but you'll get the opportunity. You can try it out.
Yeah, coming to PC soon. The Uncharted Wolf asks, "Hey, cohorts of the Midwest, what's the farthest you've gotten in a game without beating it? I got to the last mission in Cyberpunk before my game crashed, and I decided I just didn't like the game enough to beat it."
That's so sad. You're like, I'm not gonna cross that finish line.
Yeah. Just recently, this isn't the furthest, but me and my girlfriend got halfway through Chicory and then lost the save. We got halfway through Chicory, lost 2 hours of progress, got all the way back up and a little past it, and then lost the save completely.
What happened? Was it just like buggy or?
First time, I have no idea what happened. Second time, my computer had to get Windows reinstalled and the drive got wiped.
Oh my god.
You should have prepared for that. What were you doing?
Should have had a backup computer.
Exactly. It's great on Switch. Should have played it on Switch.
Ah, damn.
What you were thinking. Let's see. Nick asks, what's your "you damn kids get off my lawn" old man opinion on video games that younger gamers might not understand, or "we weren't even to go on your lawn" younger opinion that older gamers might not understand? I think I just love lawns.
Well, okay, my opinion, lawns are bad.
Yeah.
No thank you.
I share that
Trash.
opinion.
Don't want to be mowing that trash.
Ew.
You damn
Yeah.
kids keep messing up my lawn.
Mow it. I'll
Put
give you
that-
some money.
Put that prairie on my lawn.
I'm trying. I don't know if I really have a lot of these because I really actively, as a father, try. I think of that Simpsons meme. Old man yells at cloud. I really don't want to become that. I try to look at stuff that kids are playing and doing and try to understand what's interesting about it and why they like it. I can't really think of anything that I'm like, it was better in my day, because a lot of it
I mean, my new one, which doesn't feel that controversial, but it's just I hate loot. I don't want to play any game with loot, and it seems like that's something that the industry is pushing that no one is really interested in. So again, it doesn't feel like I'm taking a bold stance, but it's please let me play a God of War game that doesn't have different armor pieces in it.
Yeah, it seems like it's in there because, whatever data shows that it keeps people engaged more, whether or not they're screaming about how much they love getting their loot. My old man opinion, and maybe just an old weirdo opinion, is I hate wireless controllers. I wish we had wired controllers for everything still. Except the
Interesting.
Switch.
Even the sort of benefit of not having to worry about wires, it's not worth it to you?
I don't know what that benefit is. I'm still sitting the same distance from my TV,
I guess I've just gotten up and the controller's gotten stuck and I've yanked Super Nintendo out of my TV console, or the GameCube wires were too short. Animals run past and knock stuff over.
Right, sure.
But your life is perfect and you never experience it.
It's just not worth it for it running out of battery all the time.
Sure, yeah.
And having to pair it and stuff.
Well,
Yeah, it's it's still wired. It's just plugged into the charger that, the cord that's on the back of my couch at all times. Because the PS5 feels like it has 4 hours of battery life.
Yeah.
That's true. This one's kind of tricky because you sort of have to think about what your potential most anticipated game that might be announced in the next few weeks might be with Summer Game Fest. But Virgil B asks, if your most anticipated game is shown at Summer Game Fest, and if it had a hiring process in order for you to play it, how would you fill out your resume to be the most qualified? Any transferable skills, experience? Would you leave anything out?
To be able to play the game that I want to play?
Yeah, so let's say Resident Evil 4 Remake was announced today. And if you had to put in an application to be allowed to play it, what would you put in your application? I would write about how I have a lot of experience with all the Resident Evil games. I've played Resident Evil 4 on nearly every platform it released. I'm very cool, and I played it in VR, which hasn't been done by a lot of people. I won't tweet. I'll tweet positive things about it, maybe. No promises there. I'll put a little asterisk on that. Yeah, I don't know. So you have to kind of think about what game would potentially be announced that you're excited about, and then build out your resume from there.
So my most anticipated game, which hasn't really been announced, is whatever Gen Design is working on. The Team Eco thing or whatever. And I guess I would turn my webcam over here and show them my Last Guardian thing, and then turn my webcam around and my Shadow of the Colossus print and show them my ribs, which has a Shadow of the Colossus tattoo, and just be
My
Then I would take my shirt off.
It's you don't want me to be a stalker, so just hire me, please. Okay, let's make this official.
I think
Or you
I
just
would
show
wanna-
them that your essay for your Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, I
video.
mean, I guess I've
That's a ton
done
of views,
a
right?
lot of. This has 5 million views. Please hire me.
Please hire me to pay you to allow me to play your game. I'll buy
Yeah.
a copy and play it myself.
I want to
Alright.
see the next Final Fantasy 14 expansion, and I would just submit my MinnMax 210s Game of the Year fighting for Endwalker. I would just submit that and only that, and I would just be like, "Did you see what I did?"
See what happened there?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
me.
Just the
That's me.
Really
transcript
put my
and
neck
the
out
word
there for you
count.
guys.
I mean, it's weird because we're assuming that it would be appealing for them to know that we were the biggest fans in the world of their game when, like, probably that's not the most useful consultation. But, like,
Right, yeah.
what, if it's your most anticipated game, what else are you going to say?
That's true. You're totally right. Yeah. Okay, let's see. We got just a couple more here. Here's you guys ready for a game? We gotta close it out with a game usually, right? That's how Hanson
It's
does
not
it.
trivia, right?
Yeah, it's trivia. Is that okay?
That's fine.
I give this one a thumbs up if it's the
trivia.
one I'm thinking of.
Okay, let's see. Hello, cohorts. Nick from Atlanta wrote this in. It's time to play the hottest new game that Sarah's gonna love. I added that part. Dark Souls or Monster Hunter?
Oh
Below
no.
are 6 names. It's up to you to tell us whether it's from the first Dark Souls game or Monster Hunter Rise. Have fun. So they specified
Oh,
it down to
no.
2 games, which does
I
that make
know.
it easier or harder? I don't know.
I know Dark Souls 1 pretty well, so I'm thinking I'll be good at this one.
All right, let's start with Leo here.
Thank you.
Leo, Dark Souls 1 or Monster Hunter Rise?
Dark Souls.
Uchigatana. And you said Dark Souls before I even said it out loud. Is that right? That's your answer?
I think I may as well just pick one randomly, so let's go with that.
You nailed it, man. You know your stuff.
Thank you.
Dark
I'm a gamer.
All right,
Look, I
Sarah.
can tell you where to get that item in Dark Souls.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
apparently also in Dark Souls 2, 3, Demon Souls, and Elden Ring.
You gotta kill
Yeah.
the old merchant in the Undead Burg.
All right, we get it. You know Dark Souls 1.
It's not that we didn't believe you.
Look, the resume question was the last one. This was a different set of questions. All right. Sarah, Shrine Ruins. Shrine Ruins.
Monster Hunter?
It's actually
Monster Hunter.
all games.
Yeah, I was like,
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
But you nailed it. Yeah, Shrine Ruins, Monster Hunter. The demon ruins are from Dark Souls. Everyone knows that.
yeah, I knew that.
All right, Jacob. I hope I'm pronouncing these right because that would kind of
Just
That's
pronounce
the added
them wrong.
handicap.
Just pronounce them wrong, see if he still gets it. hard mode.
Grior's Landmark, and that's Grior. Grior's Landmark.
That is from Monster Hunter.
There you go. Nailed it. Leo, you want to venture a guess before I say it out loud again? Or you wanna wait?
This one's Monster Hunter, oddly.
Okay. Okay. Final answer. I'll still go through the rigmarole.
Please.
Leo, is this Dark Souls or Monster Hunter? Crystal Lizard. Crystal
Yeah, I know
Lizard.
that's what I would have guessed. So yeah.
And you said Monster Hunter, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. You got it wrong. It's from Dark Souls. Monster Hunter has rock, boulder, and scale lizards. Come on.
Oh my
Leo.
god.
I have brought shame to my family.
All right. Sarah, the Chaos Blade. Chaos Blade.
What?
Dark Souls or Monster Hunter Rise?
I'm gonna go with Monster Hunter.
Ooh,
so. I thought it
Jacob's
was a little
shaking his
too-
head.
I thought it was a little too basic.
That's from
Sounded
Dark
basic
Souls.
enough for Monster Hunter.
The Chaos Bow is from Monster Hunter. Sieglin. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah. So you got that wrong, Sarah. I'm sorry. Sorry that happened to you.
Can you apologize before we move on?
I'm sorry, everybody.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Jacob, and everybody else.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Okay, let's see. Jacob. The Sieglind. Sieglinde. Sieglind.
That's Monster Hunter?
Trick question, my friend. Both. A great sword in Monster Hunter Rise and an NPC in Dark Souls.
Can you
Oh,
spell
that's
that
right.
again?
Okay, because Siegward is the main one, but I think Sieglind is his daughter? Yeah.
Could
Okay.
you throw more excuses, please? Throw them
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
We want
No.
them all.
I should have got the trick question. But Sieglund is a minor NPC in Dark Souls.
There we go. Here, I'll do one more quick one, and then we'll do question of the week, which you guys all promised to help me with. Okay. So this question is from Ben Hansen. Hello,
no.
Kyle and the Kylettes.
Oh.
And I wanted to share this so it's on the record. This is it's not really a question. I just wanted to make sure we share this. Here are Ben's predictions for Keeley's Summer Game Fest. The official name reveal of Riot's fighting game, Mass Effect TV show official announcement and cast, Borderlands movie trailer, GoldenEye remake / port announcement, Midnight Suns gameplay / release date, and the reveal of that Wu-Tang RPG. And then he says, "Keep
Wow.
up the great work," which I don't know if we'll see how he feels after he listens
Redacted?
to it. Yeah, I look
Start
forward
some
to
great work.
receiving shortly after this goes live, maybe the next day, a couple hours later. I'm sure I'll get a very polite private Slack message offering me a bunch of tips to be prepared for next week. Which, Ben, I appreciate those. I do like those. I don't mind feedback. Okay, guys, what was your favorite question this week? We've got, let's see, what are some of the ones with the turkey? The turkey discussion was fun.
I liked the NPC one.
I
What
like
would
that
our
too.
one line of dialogue be?
Yeah. I did like the turkey one too because I truly have never heard of sliced chicken. Deli chicken.
Is that your local deli? It's pretty common, you know. I don't think it's like hard to find.
It sounds great from the way you described it.
Just flavorless.
Yeah.
Any other takers? I like the NPC line. I think that was fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Now, let's see. Who was that? That was from Crater. Congratulations, Crater. You got a copy of Spinch coming your way. It's great on Switch. It's really good on Switch. Oh my gosh. We did it.
We did.
You guys.
Great
Did we?
work.
Isn't there one more thing?
Get a load of this, but
What's that, Leo?
There's one more thing we have yet to have to have done.
I know, but I'm just proud of this part. I'm just trying to take my victories.
You're worried we're gonna blow it in the get a load of this.
That's
fine.
right. No, but it is time for a little something called Get a Load of This. I'm not sure. Do we have the music in there?
The
Leo?
music just played, yeah.
Beautiful. Okay.
It was.
Sarah,
I
you wanna
played
go-
it perfect timing, super smooth, flowed right into the next segment. No, nothing holding it up. We're ready to
Nice.
launch right
beautiful.
into it.
Sarah, you want to go first?
Yeah, my get a load of this is there is a group of people in Minecraft, AORGG Studios, who have recreated the Lion King musical in Minecraft. Full cast, full costumes, set changes with the music. Only 20 people are allowed in the theater, which they fully built out because there's just so much going on. If there were more than 20 people, the lag would absolutely crash the server. And it looks incredible. It looks amazing. It looks just like the actual musical. So I won't be able to check it out, but because I won't be one of those 20 people. But I bet it's amazing.
Nice. Hey guys, get a load of this. This is a pretty straightforward one. I told everyone about it before we started recording, but Bo Burnham released. I think it's like an hour and a half. It's a series of outtakes and cut songs from Inside. It's called the Inside Outtakes, and it's weirdly super interesting and fun. And there's a handful of songs in there that I'm like, why'd you cut these? These are very short and
Yeah.
could have just stayed in here.
It's interesting. He talks about, making it himself and having no idea which stuff is funny, which I definitely relate to. But it's like,
Right.
yeah, if he had outside knowledge, maybe he would have put that Gene's bit in because that made me laugh harder than anything in Inside.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's called the Inside Outtakes. It is essentially a new special. Like it is like as thematically coherent as the original Inside. It like has an arc in a similar way. It's incredible. Like you got to watch this thing.
And I mean, fun for Jacob and Leo and Ben Hansen, I'm sure as well. You learn that Bo Burnham's a Final Cut man. Doesn't use Premiere.
I was aghast.
Final Cut.
Though
Thrilling.
there is this is some real nerdy stuff in the song Sexting. Like you can see he's projecting that with a Premiere timeline in like a little bit in in the original Inside. So there's actually he's using multiple editing programs, which is even more deranged.
He plugs in a bunch of, because it's on YouTube exclusively, he puts up a bunch of fake ads and like skip ad icons, and it got me every time. I was like, wait, is this one a real? And every time I was like, nope, that's a fake ad.
They're really well done.
Totally worked. Jacob.
Yeah, okay. So I had one, but I'm changing it because Sarah reminded me with saying in Minecraft. There is an FBI like background document that states that they know that saying in Minecraft can be like cover for criminal activity, as in I'm going to beat up Joe Manchin in Minecraft. And what their official document says is the United States of America specifically states Minecraft is a video game. Based on information provided by the FBI, the government understands that it is common for persons discussing criminal activity online to refer to such activity as occurring in Minecraft to conceal the true nature of the activity. So they know.
They could be doing it in Minecraft.
They're gonna have to switch it in Roblox with it coming.
I know. I always said in Fortnite. So really, the FBI still got some catching up to do. But I thought that was very funny because I have genuinely said that before.
That's great. Leo, you got one?
Simple, get a load of this. For my Venture Brothers fans out there who you may recognize that show from my impressions last week. New video essay from a YouTuber called Steak Bentley. That's an hour-long love letter to that show, which it being canceled so horrifyingly recently, it's really nice to listen to as a fan. I recommend it to anybody who loves that show. It's called Venture Bros and Failure.
Nice. Quick one from the community that I'm gonna call this one out because in retrospect, I probably should have actually had this be part of the main discussion at least. But Nick from Atlanta posted in the Get a Load of This channel on the MinnMax Discord, which you can join if you want to support us on Patreon, that Dragon Age, the new Dragon Age, has a subtitle. The game is going to be called Dread Wolf. Dragon Age Dread Wolf.
Nice.
Which
When do y'all think that game's coming out? I think 2024 at the end.
I guess we did just get a title, nothing else. That's not a good sign.
We got a title and lost 3 more core development staff.
Fair trade.
I'm looking to see if maybe the blog post has anything, even like hinting, like coming soon or will, but no, I don't see anything. Nope. So it's never coming out. If they don't have a window on the blog post, it's just not happening.
Too bad.
There we go. We got a load of this. We answered a lot of questions. We talked about the PlayStation showcase. It was really exciting. Does anyone have any plugs? Sarah, you have a plug?
Yes, follow me on Twitter @SarahPods. Follow me on Twitch @SarahPods. Please support me while I play all the Yakuza games, because I need it.
Do you know what the Summer Game Fest Play Days event is?
Do I know what it is?
Do you know what it is?
No. Am I going? Yes.
Okay.
Do I know what's going on? No. Jeff's keeping it a secret.
Okay, but that's happening. All right. Cool. There was a note for you to plug it, so you nailed it.
Next week, the 9th, was it like the 10th and the 11th? I will be in Los Angeles for the Summer Games Fest. If you see me, say hi. I will be playing some games. Ben says I have to make friends, so I'll be playing games, making friends.
He's always
spreading the
doing
good
that.
word. Yeah, spreading the good word about MinnMax.
Trying to get people to make friends all the time. It's
I know.
Dude, we're adults. Like, we have all the friends we're gonna have for the rest of our life. We're good. Okay, so here we got some other plugs here. So we got, let's see, get ready for Jurassic Park Dominion. I'm going to read these. Hanson left for these. He usually does them off the cuff, and it feels very natural. I'm going to read them just so I don't get any of the details wrong. I hope that's okay with everybody. Get ready for Jurassic World Dominion by unlocking our new commentary track for the first Jurassic Park on Patreon. With he has a typo here actually, but I'm gonna keep it Ven Hansen. He put a B. He put a V instead of a B. So Ven Hansen, everybody, not the Ven Hansen. We should call him. Leo Vader and Brian Vore are gonna be part of that as well. $5 supporters unlock the commentary track on their favorite podcast app. It's also just a great long podcast about why Jurassic Park rules. You can also unlock the commentary tracks for Lord of the Rings, Advent Children, and The Matrix and the Star Wars sequel trilogy. So those are all, $5 to support us. You get access to all those. Trivia Tower, the grand round. Round. Come on, guys. Round. It's happening on Sunday, June 19th at 2 p.m. Central. So, Europe, this is your round. Compete in video game trivia, and the last person standing wins $1,000. Everybody who supports MinnMax on Patreon at any tier can compete. And then we have some new game champions. You can become a game champion by supporting MinnMax at the $50 tier, and then you lock in a game of your choice. You support us at that tier. Ben sends you a message. You let him know what game you're going to support. And this week we have Brett Hunter, who called Super Mario 64. Honestly surprised that one wasn't already taken. And then old friend, we all know him, Zachary Pligge. He went with Super Mario 64, which if you know anything about Zachary Pligge, he's not allowed to choose anything else. So, oh man, how you guys feel about this episode? Feeling good?
Great work.
Leo, did you have to put out any fires or anything? You good?
Yeah, the sex bots, and there's a copyright thing on screen that's supposed to come up. I don't got it. It's just gonna play the outro music over our faces, so video viewers enjoy that. But in the words of NakedHD,
this one,
enough
Pirates,
watch stream.
You
girls
can take
here.
this one. There's no copyright on this episode.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what happens when I host, man. Give it away. I will actually be back hosting again next week because, as we answered earlier, which we probably should have given a question of the week, honestly, is Ben Hansen got married. So stepping in for him. That's my wedding present to him, is picking up hosting duties. But
Get a load of this. Ben Hansen just got married.
That's right. Congrats to him. We're so happy for you, Ben.
Totally.
But yeah, thanks so much, everybody, and be good, have fun. Let's go.
Great. And now here I go.
Yay.
Doing the outro music.
Oh, there he is. He's being good, having fun, and let's go. It's happening right now. Okay. Oh.
How long do we have to wait?
It's almost
Just
over.
keep waving.
Music's almost over. Okay, resolved.
I didn't realize how long.